Hey, what's going on? I'm Schwarz, your top real estate agent. Today's video, I'm going to talk about the big news that happened today with the Fed dropping rates for the first time that we've seen since COVID. And so a lot of people have been hitting me up today. Yes, it was big news that they did a 0.5 point drop. A lot of people thought it was going to be a quarter drop. And my clients have been hitting me up going like, hey, Adam, our mortgage rate's under 6% now. Did mortgage rates drop 0.5 point today? And I want to show you guys on a map to hopefully you guys understand a little bit more how mortgage rate works and what are the things we need to look forward to kind of know the direction of where mortgage rates are going. So I'm going to show you this chart right here. And this chart is the 10-year bond versus the 30-year mortgage rate. So the orange line right here is 30-year mortgages. And the blue line right here is the 10-year bond. They obviously kind of go hand in hand as the 10-year goes up, mortgage rates goes up. As they go down, the mortgage falls. So mortgage rates really follow the 10-year. And so why did we not see rates drop today? Because the reason we didn't see rates drop today, we all knew the Fed was going to lower these rates. They all knew that we were going to see them drop. A lot of people weren't sure how much they were going to drop, but we knew they were going to drop. And so as things were going on, we kind of knew that this was going to be expected. Why? Because we've already seen unemployment rates go over 4%. We've seen the CPI report cool down. And so we kind of all knew this was going to happen. So the big things we need to start focusing on is because the mortgage rates already saw a drop. Remember, it wasn't that long ago. You want to look about it like a few months ago, we were already kind of in the above sevens. So we've actually seen a really big drop. Why have we seen that big drop? Even though the Fed hasn't been making any cuts, because today's the first cut. The reason we saw those because the CPI report, the unemployment report, those things were showing that inflation is cooling down and we knew rates were going to start slowing down. And that's what's happened today. So what we need to think about and what's really important to us. So the next unemployment rate report will come out will be October 4th. That's going to be a really important day for us. If we see that job loss is happening more, or we see that it hasn't moved, then we're probably going to see mortgage rates drop a little bit more. The next important date that we need to worry about is the CPI report. That report comes out late October. And then the Fed's next meeting will be not until November 6th and 7th. So if we see those reports, say the unemployment report comes in and it comes in really hot, there's a lot of jobs, it looks like the economy's moving fast again, we actually might see mortgage rates go up, even though we just saw the Fed drop rates. And so when we have higher rates, especially in mortgages, it kind of shows that the economy is doing well. And so the reason why we had mortgage rates go up so much is because the market was doing so well and people had so much money that we had to figure out a way to slow it down. And that's why the Fed raised the rates. And so now we're going to start seeing the Fed lower rates. But the 10-year really goes after what we're going to find on those reports. And so those are real important dates that we need to pay attention to. And so we will see mortgage rates be affected by that, not what the Fed does. Same thing with the Fed. If we start seeing that the CPI report comes in hotter than expected, if we start seeing job losses decrease and we see unemployment go under 4% and things are tracking to be hot again, the Fed is going to be really worried about not allowing inflation to creep back up. And so even though a lot of people are saying that we're going to see at least a point drop by the end of the year, if those reports come in hot, I think the Fed's going to hold off. And so we really don't know what's going to happen. If I had to guess what's going to happen, we're kind of trending in the right way. I personally have a pulse on the market. What I feel like the Fed's going to keep lowering rates because it seems like everyone I talk to, they're running out of money. We've already seen credit card debt higher than we've ever seen before. We're starting to see card delinquencies. Remember, a lot of people are, because us being in the housing world, will say, oh, well, foreclosures. The problem with that is when you think about it, the two last things someone will stop paying for is their house and food. And so if people stop paying their mortgages, that means they're using that money for food. And also someone has to be in their house for like 90 days without making a payment. So 3, 4, 5 months. And a foreclosure normally won't even go on the market until they're at least 200 days behind payment. So if you're waiting for that economy crash or tons of foreclosures, I just don't see those happening in the residential space. You might see that in the commercial space that a lot of people are saying. And that's the other thing too, is lowering these rates will actually be really good for commercial, will be for those people because they don't get 30-year fixes like we do in residential. So what do I think this means for the housing market? What I mean is that I think a lot of people are are not moving right now because they're waiting on two things. One, today was a big day because they wanted to see what the market did with the rate drops. And two, I think a lot of people are waiting for the election. Most times, other than when Obama was in office, the election has only made housing go up, right? Every single time, we've never seen housing go down in any election other than in the big crash when Obama got elected. And that had nothing to do with him. That was already in the market. All right. So if you're thinking about buying a house right now, even if you're like, hey, I want to wait to see what's happening, the biggest thing you want to do is get pre-qualified right away. And the reasoning is you're not the only one sitting on the sidelines. So if you're sitting on the sidelines right now, make sure you're pre-qualified, and maybe, who knows, if you could snag up something right now, you can always refi in the next 6 to 8 months, because I do believe rates are going to be lower next year. And so if you have to carry a little bit of a higher payment for the next few months, then I would say this is the time to go. If you're thinking about selling, just remember, we're probably going to start seeing a little slowdown right now until the election. And then the problem is, after the election, we really don't see any, we only really see people make moves until about, Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, the market really slows down unless you're a really serious buyer out there, or a really serious seller and you need to buy and you need to sell. So hopefully this video helps. Hopefully it clarifies. Remember, the Fed dropping rates and what you see everyone talking about today, it will drop. What it is it drops how much banks charge each other to borrow money. And if they're borrowing money at less money, then they can loan out money to us for less money because there's a little bit of a margin for them. And so, yes, credit card interest is going to go down. Car payments are probably going down, but mortgage rates, we've already had this cooked in. If you go back to the chart and you look, we already saw a big drop off from the start of this year being above 7 to now we're right at 6. And it maybe some people with FHA can get below 6. So if you have any questions, remember, in this type of market, you have to have a game plan. And even if your plan is to buy in the next 6 months, it's best to sit down with an expert today, go over a game plan, because if the right house pops up, I know this with tons of clients. They always say, I'm on the sideline, just having this weekend. Hey, I'm going to wait 6 months. Hey, I saw this house I really want to go see. We wrote an offer and we're waiting to hear back. So hopefully this video helps. Comment below if you have any questions or send me a message. We're always here to help you. And until next time, guys, peace.